Hello everyone, it is Andrew from IDB here, putting the new Eve Degree through the paces. The Eve Degree is a new HomeKit sensor from Elgato. They already have an impressive line of HomeKit products that we've done a few different tests on so far, but the Eve Degree is kind of a combination of a couple of their older products into a really new, cool, sleek package. So what it basically does is gives you HomeKit capabilities to a temperature and humidity sensor. It has IPX3 water resistance, which means you could put this outside, so it can actually withstand rain. It has different rules that you can apply to it to do cool different things we'll look at, and it uses a replaceable battery, a CR2450 if you really care which kind, but it's a small cell battery that'll last it for an entire year before you have to replace it. That means you don't actually have to supply any other external power and deal with power cords to your tiny little temperature sensor here. So this is a passive sensor, which means it doesn't really do anything actively. It doesn't actually do anything or change anything, but you can use what the temperature readings and the humidity readings and air pressure readings that this gets to affect other things in your home, which can make it really, really powerful. And this newer version here has this really great aluminum body. It's got that really nice digital screen on the front, so you can actually see it without having to ask Siri. So it's another really kind of analog way of not having to use your phone to get that information, but you can still use Siri, you can still use your phone, you can still use your HomeKit swipe up and control center to see that right at a glance. But of course you can automate things by doing things based on rules. If we check out the hardware of the screen on the front, on the bottom is the HomeKit sticker they'll use to actually kind of scan to add this into your HomeKit setup. Along the back you get a few different things here. You have that activate button, which is also the reset button. You have a mount, your serial number, and where you can actually replace the battery. It is really nice that it uses a battery because this does work over Bluetooth Low Energy and not Wi-Fi. Now it is important because it does work over Bluetooth Low Energy. To work remotely, you do need an Apple TV or a newer iPad on one of the latest versions of iOS 10 to actually be working, remotely that is. If we press that button on the back, it will cycle through the different readings, so Celsius, Fahrenheit, as well as humidity. So you have all three of those that you can see on the screen, whatever your preference may be. So now that we've got it on, let's go ahead and set this little guy up. We're going to first start off in the Elgato Eve app, which is, by the way, one of my favorite HomeKit apps out there. There are still limitations to Apple's HomeKit application, so if you're looking for a really good one, you can check out this even if you don't have any of these Elgato Eve products. So we're going to go all the way across on the bottom and over to the right hand side where we can add a new accessory, and right away it'll find that Eve Degree. Because of course it's on, we're going to tap on that, it's going to pair and open up my camera. So it's going to use that camera to scan that little HomeKit code on the back, identifies it right away. One of the coolest parts about HomeKit of how easily this works to add those new accessories to your home setup. Don't need to do anything, no pairing, no random passwords, no adding Wi-Fi or other networks. Then I can go ahead and choose a room. So where am I going to be placing this? Again, it can work indoor or outdoor. I have my house broken into zones, upstairs and downstairs, by room and by outside. So I'm just going to put this in my living room for right now. I can also give individual names to the different things. So I can name my humidity sensor as well as my thermometer. So I can give each of those different ones a name. I'm just going to leave them at Eve Degree for the moment. And then I'm just going to ask for my elevation. Well, I don't really know, but luckily there is a way just to hit detect and it'll find it for us. Then we have our little summary thing and we can add that new accessory. So now if I go room by room in my house, I'm already in the living room, but I have the Eve Degree down below. I now have these really nice graphs or charts. We have temperature, humidity, and air pressure, and it's going to give all of those over time so I can see how things are affecting my home. Inside of the actual Apple HomeKit app, I'm in the living room again. I can still see those same pieces of information, the humidity and temperature, but the HomeKit app will not show me air pressure because I don't think it's officially supported kind of by Apple yet. So it measures it, but it's not here in the Apple HomeKit app. I can 3D touch on each of these to bring up a little bit more information, or I can tap on them and go into the full details mode. When I hit on details, things like renaming it. Now if I go to automation where I can create cool rules and stuff, unfortunately, I can't because a lot of those features are not yet supported in the Apple app, so we're going to jump back over to the Elgato Eve HomeKit application. And we do have a button along the bottom that allows you to create scenes and rules and other cool automation parts. So we have our Eve Degree, all of that's hooked up. We're going to jump over to scenes and we're going to go to the top, go to the right, and go to rules. We're just going to add a new rule. So rules are kind of based on 3 things: triggers, conditions, and what you really want them to do. So we need a new trigger. So we're going to go to humidity or temperature or air pressure, I guess for that matter, any 3 of those different readings that the Eve Degree will collect. We then need to set a threshold for those. So for different things we could do here, when the humidity reaches a certain level, turn on a dehumidifier. Or on the other side, if the temperature in a certain room gets too high, turn on a ceiling fan or a floor fan using one of the Elgato Eve HomeKit outlet sensors. You could also, what I actually did, you could put this outside, so you could see it from the window, you can see it on your little terrace or something. Then you can, when the temperature gets too high outside, switch the heating and cooling mode on your thermostat to cool, and vice versa. When it gets too cold, turn it into heat mode. So I have here on my left the Eve Room, which is a very, very similar sensor from Elgato. It is quite a bit larger and made out of plastic, and this will gather the same information, but it also collects air quality, which is a big thing. So if you're looking for air quality, you're probably going to need to go with the Eve Room here on the left-hand side. But if you don't care about air quality, the new Eve Degree is so much smaller and it looks so much better. Plus you have that screen, which makes it really, really great just to see it at a glance without having to pull out your phone. You can see, oh shoot, it's getting hot, let's do this, let's do that. I also like that you can hang this on here, so you don't have to sit it down somewhere. It looks really nice on a desk or outside, but if you're also looking for someplace to hang it, it does do that too, so really nice. I almost wish there was a mounting solution though where it faced inwards. I could put it on the window. But it is really great because you can see it from far away, kind of like your Eve thermostat or your Nest thermostat, really glanceable from across the room. Unfortunately, there is no backlight to that screen, but I didn't find it too big of a deal. So as HomeKit gets more and more evolved, we're going to see more and more great sensors like this, making things look a lot better and adding more and more functionality, and hopefully HomeKit will be coming along, adding more functionality as well here at WWDC 2017 coming up very soon. So if you'd like to pick one up, there's a link below in the description. Please go ahead and subscribe, and until next time, this is Andrew for IDB.